Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be continuing our Team Epic player review videos as we go over the American League Central. And guys, this is going to be the toughest division to grade out of all of them, probably, because there are two guys, specifically the White Sox Epic and the Indians Epic, that are extremely difficult to grade because using my formula, the value, I think, ends up, their FAG rating ends up being higher than I would normally give them, but I have to stay true to the formula, and when I think about it, maybe they do have a little bit more value than I would like to attribute to them. So, you know, with that being said, you know, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But, yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, starting out with the 87 overall Luis Aparicio. Guys, this card is so tough for me to grade because this is not a good card at all. He is not a good hitter at all. And in this game, for me to give you a lot of value, you have to be a good hitter. I would never, ever, ever have this card on my team, but I can't deny that for someone who is more speed, more defense inclined, that this card does have value. So I can't depress his FAG rating too much because of that. So, you know, let's just go over this card. Hitting-wise, he's not going to be good. He's going to be okay versus lefties. Like, he's got decent contact and great vision. He's got great vision and decent contact versus lefties, but he has no power versus either side at all. In fact, you may even hit righties slightly better because he has +4 power versus righties, but you're not going to be getting any exit velo. Everything that you hit off of his bat is going to, you're not going to hit anything with any real authority with this card. So, hitting-wise, he has very little value. He basically has no value with his power tool at all and minimal value with his contact tool. But he is a shortstop, so his hitting gets weighed a lot less than a lot of other positions like first base, third base, left field. So what is important with him, or what is also important with him, is his defense and his speed. And he is phenomenal in this area. He has fantastic defense, 96, 91 reaction. He has a very solid arm, 83 strength with 85 accuracy. That's very, very good. Defensively, there are no complaints with this guy. Plus, he has 98 speed with 93 stealing. That is game-breaking speed. If you can manage to get this guy on base, he is going to be a terror on the base paths for your opponent. And it really is game-breaking type speed. The challenge is just going to be getting this guy on base in the first place. If you can manage to do that consistently, this card is probably going to be great for you, but I'm just not confident that there are very many people out there who can get on base with this card very consistently. So after plugging in number after number and trying to figure out what I felt comfortable with, I ended up giving him a FAG of a 5.6, which is just below that 6.0 baseline that I think would represent an average player. I do think that this guy is below average, but because of his position, because he's so fast, and because of his defense, I couldn't put him too far below average because I could see him having value to a certain type of player. And we run into a very similar problem with the next guy. And now, moving on to the 89 Omar Vizquel, this card was even tougher to grade because, you know, take out his hitting, his defense and his speed are very, very similar to the Aparicio. His defense is slightly better, and his speed is just very solid. It's not game-breaking like that Aparicio is. The difference between this card and that other one is, one, Omar Vizquel is a switch hitter, and two, he has fantastic contact. He has elite contact ability. And that elite contact ability really, really, really fucks up my formula. Because I have to give him an elite contact grade. I cannot deduct that many points from him from the contact, from his hit tool. I just can't. 96, 96, 100? I mean, are you kidding me? That's elite. But the big problem with this card is that power is so important this year. If you want to hit any balls hard at all, you have to have power, and this card simply has no power at all. 33-31. That is not going to get the job done. So I had to figure out a way to kind of represent this card's true value. I mean, how much is that contact really going to help you this year? Yeah, you'll have a bigger PCI. Yeah, you may be able to make solid contact a little bit more often than that Aparicio, but it's not going to go anywhere, really. It's going to be an out more often than not, and at least that Aparicio has speed to go along with it. But this is like one of the issues with my FAG formula, is that it's hard to correct for these types of things. So I have to give this Omar Vizquel a pretty decent grade. And I did bring it down more than what I thought I would. And, you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm comfortable with it, because maybe some people can, you know, maybe power swing or something and kind of get around the low power. But I don't know, man. This was an extremely difficult card to grade. And I ended up giving him a FAG of a 6.9. I feel okay with that grade. But, I mean, if you would have told me that this card is a full point above average, I would have been like, man, really? Like, that power? I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think about this card. Do you think a 6.9 is fair for him because of the defense, because of the speed, and because of the contact? Or do you think that, you know, he's really not all that much better than the Aparicio? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Okay, now we're finally starting to get into some really good cards, and that is the 89 overall Victor Martinez. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say off the jump that he does get a few bonus points for being a catcher, as well as a first baseman, but I am going to be grading him as a first baseman because that is his primary position, even though I know that most people are going to use him as a catcher. He has fantastic contact, elite contact ability, can't take a lot away from that at all. His power is very, very good versus lefty. Well, it's actually elite versus lefties, and it's very solid versus righties. It's not, it's above average versus righties. It's not great, but overall, just a fantastic hitter. He's also a switch hitter. This is a pure offensive play right here. You are getting this guy for his offense. Now, keep in mind that you're probably going to be dealing with a shift, and you'll have to figure all that out. But overall, fantastic hitting card right here. His fielding is where the issues begin to come in. A lot of people are really scared to put bad defensive catchers behind the plate. But I'll tell you that last year, I never had any problems doing that. This year, it does seem like catcher defense is a little bit more important than it has been in the past, but I'm still not confident that throwing a bad fielder back there is really all that bad of an idea. I don't know how much it will really affect his overall value playing him at catcher, but if it's even close to last year, I think the hit that you take on defense is going to be worth getting this bat into your lineup, just because it's simply so good. Another thing to keep in mind with this card is that you're not going to get any speed value at all from him. In fact, it's going to be very, very rare that you get any extra base hits like a double or a triple, God forbid a triple, out of this card. It's just not going to happen that often. You know, it's basically going to be singles, walks, and home runs with this card. So, you know, maybe that limits his value a little bit too, and maybe he, you know, the fact that he'll be a clog on the base paths is something that you might want to avoid. I don't know, but I personally think this card is fantastic, and I ended up giving him a FAG of an 8.3. Coming up next is possibly the worst card in all of the Team Epics. Yes, even worse than the Aparicio, and that is the 84 overall George Brett. Basically, the only thing that this card does well is contact. Contact and vision. He'll have a decent sized PCI, but he has no power at all to speak of. He's not going to be hitting any home runs for you, or many home runs for you. He doesn't play great defense. He doesn't have elite speed. This is the kind of guy that the FAG formula absolutely hates, because he's a third baseman with no power, no defense, no speed. There's not a lot to like about this card at all. He is a well below average card. I don't see really any redeeming qualities about him unless you are just the most avid of Kansas City Royals fans. I would not recommend going after this card. He's just not worth the grind, in my opinion. For those reasons, I ended up giving him a FAG of a 4.2. Moving on, we have a very intriguing pitcher, the 87 overall Francisco Liriano. This might be one of the better pitchers in this group, this Team Epic group. First of all, fantastic per-nines for a non-immortal type card. He has 82, 92, very, very solid, very, very usable. It easily hits our threshold that we want for combined hit and K per 9. One thing that might kind of concern you is the low-ish walk per 9, but it's not atrocious. It's not like Nolan Ryan level bad walk per 9, you know. You'll still be able to hit your spots. You just might have to, you know, you might miss every now and then with him, but it's nothing that I would really say is that big of a deal. His stuff, very, very solid. He throws 95 on both fastballs. He's got a really good slider that's actually his primary pitch. And he has a very solid changeup with a 12 mile per hour delta. It's a very, very solid delta between his fastball and his changeup. Overall, the stuff and the pitch selection is very, very good. For those reasons, I ended up giving this Francisco Liriano a FAG of a 7.9. I think this card is very, very worth it in the early game. This is a card that I'm personally going after, and I would recommend you going after too. I think that he could hold down a spot in your rotation for at least a month or two until you get some better options out there. But yeah, I love this Francisco Liriano card. And guys, that is going to do it for this episode of Player Review. Tomorrow we will be doing the AL West. That is the Angels, the Athletics, the Mariners, the Rangers, and the Astros. I'm really excited to do these two right here, the Mariners and the Rangers. So yeah, guys, I love y'all. I will see y'all later. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys later. But until then, peace.